Yeah.
99.9% of the time, they won't remember. And they need to be reminded. Like, people have to see something so many times before they, act, or before they, just take that next step.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so thrilled you are here because I have brought a very special guest to join us for today's episode. We're talking all things social media, website, marketing. So we have the privilege of having Madelyn Victoria here with us. She is a social media manager, a web designer for service-based entrepreneurs, and a marketing extraordinaire. So Madelyn, welcome to the podcast. So happy you are here with us. How are you doing today?
I'm so good. I'm so excited for this conversation and to get to talk to you.
Yay. Well, we are excited for it too. We're going to just jump right in to some rapid fire, and then we'll get into a little bit of your story and all the juicy stuff that we're going to talk about. But just to kick things off, are you a coffee girl, a tea girl, matcha? Like, what's your drink of choice?
Coffee all the way. Give me a latte with honey and cinnamon. That is my go-to order.
Ooh, with honey and cinnamon.
So good. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Okay, if you could only keep one, Instagram or email list?
See, this is so hard, but if I had to choose, I would say Instagram, because I love editing reels. I love like the creative piece of it. So if I had to choose.
I feel like that's like a trick question because we're like, you kind of need both. But okay, all right, good to know. Best business advice that you've ever received or that's like really stuck with you?
So my business coach, Holly Haynes, who I know you know as well.
Yeah, she's one of the podcast. I love her.
Yes, she's the best. And when I first started my business, like, she told me, I mean, it was the whole group, but it has just really stuck with me. She said, consistency trumps talent. You don't have to be the best in the game. You just have to stay in it. And so like when I got started, I thought I had to be like the best at everything, like an expert, from the get-go. And like you learn that over time, like not only like in your skill and in your job, but also, with the back end of your business too. So I think that is just like such a good piece of advice from her.
So good. So good. I love that. Consistency every time, all day. Okay. Do you have a podcast or an audiobook or a YouTube channel or anything like that you're binging that you can't stop listening to right now?
Ooh, okay. So podcast, I've been listening to Cubicle to CEO. I love like the case studies on that podcast. And then audiobook, I actually just finished Theo of Golden. So it's not a business book technically, but it is something that kind of like gets the creative juices flowing, just like putting you in a fictional world. So
I love it. So good. I love the balance. I feel like there was years that I only read business books, and that was just like the season I was in. I was like soaking it all up and like reading all the things and listening to all the things. And I just went back to like fun reading, like reading for not learning purposes, I'd say in the last couple of years. And it is nice. It's super nice. I'm like, oh, I got the library app and getting all my books.
Yes, so I love the library app.
Amazing. Okay, last rapid fire question before we dive into it. What would your followers be surprised to know about you?
That is such a good question. I think it is how much I love like the Savannah Bananas in baseball overall. Like that is such a random fact, but I am obsessed with them. Like I just watch like their games, on YouTube. I think they'd be surprised to know that because I talk about it a little bit, but I don't think they understand like the depth of my love. So
oh my gosh. So we've been to 2 Savannah Banana games now.
Stop.
Yes.
So
they came to San Diego last year and we had like pretty good seats. So like they were like throwing the football into the stands. My kids were catching it. That was super fun. And then we went to the game they just had in San Diego and we got a suite. We were like, we had the suite life.
I'm
but
so
that was
jealous.
like a totally different experience because it was almost like watching a show from an like, we were up in this box and I mean, it was fancy. I loved it.
Yeah.
But different than like being involved. Like we were the first time around. The kids were getting autographs. So
I love
Jackson Olsen. He's
oh,
my
I know.
favorite.
I love him and KJ. Like, they're my favorite. And Jesse Cole, like the guy who founded the league, he is so fascinating. Like, I love his books and his Instagram. Like, he is so cool. But
I have his book also. And I actually, one of my keynotes last summer, I opened talking about the Savannah bananas. And so now people know that I also share a love for the bananas.
That's amazing.
I mean, not going to lie. I'm not mad about the firefighters either. Like, there's, they've
That's
really
who
upped their game.
I went and saw them in March, and they were so good. Oh my goodness.
So fun. So fun. Okay. All right. Well, we'll get to it, but this is fun. We have some common ground there. So beyond the Savannah bananas, give us a quick version of your story. You went from English major to marketing strategist, that leap into entrepreneurship. Like, tell us a little bit about how you got where you are today.
Yeah, so I always kind of joke around and say that it happened by accident. And I mean, I just never, dreamed that I would have my own business. And in college, I was majoring in English, and I decided kind of early on that I wanted to go into marketing. I had a marketing internship that I loved, but I ultimately was like, okay, I'm going to go into corporate, work the 8-to-5 job. And, that's how things are going to be. And my English degree helped with that too, because you write so much. And I mean, it worked really well with it. So in college, I started this social media management business on the side just to make some extra money. I didn't think it would, really amount to anything. And so as I was doing it, I was like, oh, I really actually enjoy this. Like, this is really fun. I really like the clients that I'm working with. I'm learning a lot. I really like setting my own hours. And so I, closer to graduation, it's like, okay, I have this crazy idea. Like, should I, try this business? Like, should I take the leap and just kind of see where this takes me? So it was a little bit scary, but after I graduated, I ended up, just focusing on my business. I did end up getting a couple part-time jobs, and that did help, just with the scariness, and eventually I was able to go full-time into it, and then have expanded it, and I absolutely love it. It's I am so thankful that I get to do this every day and get to talk to amazing people like you and just have this for a job.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me just back that up a little bit. So you didn't go into corporate at all. You didn't have a traditional 9-to-5. You went straight from college into running your own business.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was an administrative assistant, part-time for the president of a local university, but it wasn't a corporate job. It wasn't 8-to-5 or anything like that. So it's been a learning curve, but I'm so thankful for it. But
good for you, girl. Were people okay, so what are you going to do after college? Did you get a job? Were you interviewing and you were like, I'm doing my own thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought I was crazy. They're like, oh, okay. That's, interesting. Good luck with
that, Madelyn.
Yeah. But luckily, my closest friends and my family were really, really supportive. So they were a great encouragement. But some of the people that I didn't know so well and who didn't know me so well were like, oh,
sure.
That's interesting.
Good for you. Oh my gosh. I bet so many people listening right now are like, man, if I would have started my business right out of college, or if I would have started sooner. You hear that all the time. If I had a couple more years, of experience before I stepped into this, look where I'd be right now. So props to you. You're doing it. You're doing it.
Thanks.
Okay, well, tell us. I mean, you're working with a lot of service-based entrepreneurs. You're on social. You're seeing a lot. So what are you seeing a lot of? Let's go the opposite way. What is the number one marketing mistake that you're seeing small business owners make today?
Yeah, so I think the number one mistake is people just copying and pasting AI or something they got off of ChatGPT. And that seems like something so simple and so, obvious. But I mean, every time I get on, social media, I can tell it's directly copied and pasted, and they haven't put their own spin on it. It sounds very like ChatGPT wrote it. And so, I mean, AI in general is not going anywhere. And I like to use it as an assistant. I, use it to brainstorm and organize thoughts and outline emails and optimize for keywords, all of that. But the CEO of Instagram said, I want to say it was a month or two ago, he was like, the bar is shifting from can you create to can you make something that only you can create? And so I think a lot of
content.
Exactly.
I saw that. Yeah,
exactly. And so AI can't replicate your life or your experience or your stories. And so I think so many people are making the mistake and they're missing that, the more real that you can be and the more like personable and just like organic, the better. And that really, really stands out. Like I see that with my clients. I see that with other people that I admire and follow. Like the more that they can like show themselves and their experiences, like the better. So, yeah, I mean, it really matters like in today's world.
I could not agree more. And I feel like when ChatGPT first became mainstream, it was like, ooh, it can write all my social captions. Like, hold on and write me a social caption for my business. And now that most people, especially if you're in the social space or marketing space, are using AI to some extent, I feel like I can see it from like a million miles away. Or I'm like, that was like very overly robotic ChatGPT. Like, and I'm all about like feed it your content, customize it, personalize it, like you said, put your spin on it. Let's work smarter and leverage AI and the tools that we have. But I feel like it's only as good as what you give it. So, 100%. It's not just like go on there and, hey, write me a social plan for the week. It's hey, here's a story that, came up and I want to retell it in a way that's going to be compelling to my social followers. And I'm a big voice chatter. So I like using the voice chat functionality to kind of like put some information in there and then be able to pull out what I like, but I'm still editing it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so good too to like compare two different things. Like a lot of times in my newsletters, I'll say like, here's something that happened last week. I went to a firefighters game, like a banana ball game. And can you tie this with like this marketing tip that I want to share? And so it's good about like giving me ideas how to like mesh the two. Yeah. But like you said, always going back and revising it and make sure it sounds like you and not, like ChatGPT.
A robot.
ChatGPT wrote it. Yeah, exactly.
Or a copy paste message. But I do love what you said around original content. I literally, one of my corporate clients just emailed me this morning, and I can't make this up, saying like, here's how we're training our sales field on creating original content. Because they do provide a lot of images and videos that people can use, but we know the importance of not having 1,000 people copying that. And so, here's kind of our point of view on it. Can you help us make sure that like you're helping us also share that in what you're teaching? And it takes more work for sure to create that original content, but that's what people want to see. They want to see your face and they want to hear the background story of your business and why you do what you do. So I love that.
Absolutely.
That's really, really great advice. Okay. I think that a lot of my listeners love the idea of social media, but also don't want to be like glued to social media 24/7. I think we share that perspective. So what does a sustainable social media strategy look like from your point of view? Because people are always like, well, how often should I post? Or what platform should I post on? But what is a sustainable plan? Like what does that look like when you're working with your clients or you'd recommend to other small business owners?
Yeah, so I usually recommend posting, I say start with 3 if you can, if not at least 2 posts a week. That gives the algorithm more data and it gives your ideal audience and your followers like more content, so that they can not only get to know you, but they kind of expect or they can come to expect like what you're going to post next. My clients get so tired of me telling them this, but I'm like, consistency is so, so key because, and even if it's, maybe, 1 week you aren't able to post 2 or 3 times, still getting something out there that's good. I mean, because of course we want to like make sure it's quality content, but I really encourage people not to take weeks off if they can help it, again, because like the algorithm just kind of gets confused. And I've seen this, like one of my clients actually last year, she took a break for 2 months. Now I know that's longer than a week, but like I've seen, both sides of it, like 1 week and then 2 months. So she really didn't post at all. And so people kind of dropped off. They forgot she existed. So when, she came back to me and like we started working together again, it took a minute to build that momentum back. And so I think like too, a lot of people get frustrated like in the beginning because they're not seeing like the instant results, but she just, we worked together to like be consistent and like give her followers something that not only would resonate and relate to them, but again, they came to expect like her posting, 2 or 3 times a week. So that's one thing that I would say is just like, try your best not to take weeks off, but again, prioritize the quality content and create the right systems. So something that I love telling people is block it off on your calendar. Again, that is something so like basic and simple, and honestly, like I didn't start doing this until like the last year, I would say. I kind of just did it whenever, but I was like, I'm going to try, just putting it on my calendar, seeing what happens. Cause, a lot of times I'd put like a meeting over it or like, something else, like an in-person event. And so I actually was, I kept myself accountable. Like Thursdays, that is my content creation day. Like I create social media, I do email in the morning and then like social media more in the afternoon. And so having that just like in my head and like that repeatable process that I know to expect every week is super, super helpful and important. And then I would also say like having a good repurposing strategy. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, they feel like they're on social media all the time because they're constantly creating new content. If you have like a good repurposing strategy, like you take a reel that you posted last month and you turn it into a carousel, then that is going to not only save you like a lot of time, but also a lot of energy. And also like people ask me, they're like, oh my goodness, but I posted, something, or I posted like the same concept and like a month ago. What if people remember? And I'm like, they're not going to remember most likely. Yeah. Unless they just have like some super, super good memory, but like 99.9% of the time they won't remember, and they need to be reminded. Like people have to see something so many times before they, act or before they, just take that next step. So that is, I would definitely say having a repurposing strategy and then scheduling posts too, because a lot of people do it in the moment. And if you use Metricool, or some people even schedule like in the Instagram app, which is fine, but
right.
Exactly. But like scheduling it just kind of takes it off your plate, and batching that like in advance is huge. So those are just like a few of the tips that I like to share because again, like I told you before we started recording, like, your audience, like they already have their own businesses, their own jobs. Like social media should not be another full-time one on top of that. So
right. Oh no, I love that so much. All right, a little real talk. If your business lives on social media, you don't own it. Oh My High gives direct sellers a real website that's actually yours. Your links, your content, your personal brand, your email list. Not a replicated page that looks like everyone else's. We built it specifically for people just like you. There's no tech skills required. And as a podcast listener, get a free Capture and Convert homepage when you get started today. Visit the link in the show notes for the promo code, or check it out over at ohmyhigh.com. Now, back to the episode. Timely for me. I shared this on a call earlier today, but I was like, we've had like, our social strategy across all these different platforms and what we've been doing. And I feel like we've tweaked things here and there, and we've adjusted the algorithm, we've updated things, but I've had this itch to like burn it all down for a little bit. And I'm not totally burning it all down, but a lot of it has to do with repurposing. Like, for example, every Monday I do a live video, and it's my Make Money Monday video. And that's great that I'm consistent, that 9 a.m. Pacific every Monday I'm live, but I know the content of what I'm sharing in that video, which is about 15 minutes, could be repurposed in so many different ways. So I've spent a little bit of time over the last week kind of playing around with how many posts I could actually get out of that one live video. And can I get a carousel post? Can I get a reel? Can I get a quote? And so I'm excited to kind of try some new things when it comes to social. And I think a lot of that really does have to do with the repurposing, because there's no need for me to go create new stuff when I already have like this content bank of really good stuff that I've been sharing that people need to hear again and again and again, because not everyone's going to watch my 15-minute video. And I know that, right? So how else do I get the information out there? So
absolutely.
Yes.
I love it.
And to have a content day blocked, that is pretty dreamy. I love that.
Yeah. I will say, like, I'll amend what I said earlier. Like, it's not the whole day. Like, Thursdays are my content creation days, but I do end up, doing like podcast interviews or other things. But social media is like a time blocked, on my calendar. And so is email. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. If you don't make time for it, it doesn't happen. Right.
Absolutely.
So true. Okay. Well, I know the other thing you talk a little bit about is being an introvert in the business, right? So for the introverts in the room, that might be like creating a day of social media content sounds like torture, or being on podcast interviews back to back, or whatever that might be. I'm like the biggest extrovert ever. So for the introverts, I'm going to let you speak to them. What is the biggest myth that you'd love to bust when it comes to showing up online as an introvert?
Ooh, that's so good. I mean, I'm a huge introvert. So let me just start by saying that. Like when I first started my business, I would always tell clients, I'm like, okay, you have to show up on camera. And then I would have to like force myself to show up on camera or like post stories. And so that is definitely something that I've had to like, grow in and evolve in, and, in-person events too. Like, I used to remember being so nervous to do those. And now it's just, okay, like they're fine. I mean, I still get a little bit nervous, not to lie, but it's a lot more natural. So I think a myth is a lot of people think that they have to show up every single day as far as like posts or reels, and they have to show up, super loud or like super high energy. And I think like something that introverts are so good at is having thoughtful and intentional content, and they are so good at depth just because like they kind of sit back and they like think about it and like process it all. And so I think that they're really good at storytelling and giving value. And again, we do think a little bit more before we hit record, and I think too, this goes back to like what we said earlier about AI, like people being tired of surface level content. Like your goal is depth, not loudness. And that mindset shift is huge. And introverts just already, they kind of have that understanding already a little bit. So yeah, I mean, and I can talk about like other things as far as that goes, but
no, I think that's great advice though. Like you can still show up, you can still be successful, still show your face, all of those kinds of things. And I think what I heard you say too is like with practice, that has become easier as well. Even though that might not be your natural go-to, you can channel it for a couple hours for an in-person event or for doing a live video or doing some kind of face to camera type social content.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, too, introverts already have an understanding when it comes to like, in-person events, kind of like, okay, well, I can't put too many things on one day because I'll get burned out. And it kind of works the same way with social media. I mean, if you're drained, and then you're not going to be able to create quality content. So like putting boundaries kind of around that, and just being intentional with when you create content and like how you create content, I think is really important.
I love it. So good. Okay, well, let's talk about what's working in 2026. I think this is like the big question everyone has, like, especially if you're hanging out on social media, like what is actually working right now? So what is it that you would say here in 2026, maybe people haven't even caught up on yet, that they should be thinking about in their business?
Yeah. So one thing is case studies. Those are super, super important. I'm telling you, they're working so well in 2026 right now, and showing not just like showing not what you sell, but like how you think and like how the experience of working with you looks like. So I love sharing those. Like the other day, something that I do is like offer like an Instagram audit. So I literally shared a case study of, okay, this is what her Instagram bio looked like before. These are the ideas that she was posting. And then here's the new bio. Here's the hooks for the reel. Here is some content ideas, and just showing like the shift, and then like why it works. We're talking more about the transformation. We're getting people's attention more. So I think case studies for sure are working really well. And then also like having human touch points. And I think it's funny too, because I mean, I used to want to automate everything, and it definitely has its place. Like I've saved so much time and energy, like automating things, but it can't replace certain things. Like it can't replace the human touch. And so like I was actually talking to a client about it this morning on Slack, and ManyChat is, a great tool. I love using it. But something that I've been experimenting with is changing, like the initial message when someone follows you, you can like send them like an automated thing. So something that I've been doing is either, if I have time, like I'll send them an actual voice recording, which I know not everyone can do that. That does take a little bit of time, but, just telling them like, hey, I'm so glad you're here. You're having a great day. And sometimes like I'll look at their profile and say like, oh, I loved XYZ, or I loved like this reel about, whatever it may be. And then I can ask them a question at the end even. And so hopefully they'll respond back and we can have a conversation. But if not, they know like that I genuinely care about having a relationship, and that kind of like sets me apart. So, and I tell clients too, like if you don't have time to do a, voice recording, even just sending a like delayed message, like 5 minutes after they follow. And it's just like, hey, thank you so much for the follow. I'm super excited to connect. And then you can ask a question at the end, but it looks more like a message from an actual human rather than just like an automated, reply back and get, XYZ, which again, that has its place, but for new followers, that's just what I like to do.
I love that. That's a great tip. And I think we forget how like those small, simple gestures really go super far. I feel like for a long time, I would just accept friend requests on Facebook or like LinkedIn connections. And now I'm like, at least just trying to send a message back being like, hey, great to connect. Or like, because it opens up that conversation, like you said. And then oftentimes people will respond back like, oh, hey, I heard you speak here. Or, oh, so-and-so mentioned that I should check you out. And then you're like, oh, okay. It gives you a little bit of information too of where people are coming in from. So
absolutely.
Great tip. I love that. Okay, so what do you think someone could do this week? We'll like break it down because we've talked a lot of big picture strategies. But this week, what is one thing they could do this week just to make their marketing feel a little bit less overwhelming?
Ooh, one thing I would have to say, and I say this because so many people, like their biggest complaint about their marketing is usually their social media, and it's usually they spend too much time on Instagram or social media overall, comparing themselves or doom scrolling or just like saving a bunch of ideas without actually doing anything about them. So within that context, I think it's figure out what mode you're in before you even get on Instagram. So are you in engagement mode? Are you in research mode? Are you going to post or schedule a reel? So once you know that, like you don't get sucked into the scroll as much and like have that specific mindset, you can set a timer or whatever you need to do. But that has been so key for me. And like, I've again told my clients that too. And they're like, oh my word, I actually, didn't waste 2 hours on here today. So again, it's something so simple, but just knowing like, okay, I'm going to look at some reels that I want to recreate and I'm going to save those for later. And that's the only thing that I'm going to do on there. And then you feel like, okay, I've actually been productive. Like I actually, didn't waste time. This time. So
I love that. So just having that intentionality before you open any of the apps, because I mean, how many times like, oh, I'm just going to go send this one message. And then an hour later, you're like, oh, what was I doing again?
I know.
What was I doing here?
I know. Yes.
So that's awesome. I feel like you could probably even bake that into your scheduling a little bit too. Like you said, okay, like maybe not everyone has an entire day they can dedicate to content creation, but they know that I'm going to spend 10 minutes doing engagement each morning, or I'm going to, schedule content from this time block to this time block just to kind of keep the focus rather than just like social media time, but really breaking down exactly what you're doing at each point.
Absolutely.
So good. Okay, well, this has been so good, Madelyn. Like, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here, lots of great concrete ideas that I think our audience can take and run with, like right now, not next month or next year, but use right away. So tell us, where can we connect with you? Is Instagram the go-to, or your website? What works best for you?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram at Madelyn Victoria Co. and would love to connect on there. Send me a message. Like I love doing voice messages. So if you have an idea that you want to like talk through before posting, or, want some advice for social media, like I'm more than happy to do that. And then I would love to do like a free Instagram audit for your listeners. So, I'll personally look at their Instagram, give them 3 post ideas that they can share this week, and then like some hook ideas for their next reel. So,
so generous. This is incredible.
You can DM the word audit. I think that would probably be easiest. Just my Instagram. So yeah.
Okay. So send the keyword audit.
Yep.
Okay. To your Instagram, and then you'll reply back and give everyone some ideas of what else they could be doing. This is so good. Thank you so much for being here. This was so practical, so relatable. I am super excited to hear how these Instagram audits go as well, and stay connected and continue learning from you. So thanks for taking time out of your afternoon and being here with me.
Thanks so much for having me. I've loved it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Madelyn. This episode is sponsored by CintShare. CintShare is the #1 social media scheduler for direct sellers and loved by creators in any industry. It's truly your one-stop shop for all things social. Join hundreds of thousands of social sellers and entrepreneurs who turn to CintShare for free social media training and resources. Get started today with your free 30-day trial at moderndirectseller.com/CintShare.